People say, "Oh no, your name is Tega. It's Tega." No, it's my name.
Wow.
It's Te.
Tega.
Yeah.
All right. So it's Zibby and Tega this morning in the locker room.
All right. So good morning, everybody. After we finish that lesson, yes, let's go back to what is happening in sports. So today, huge one, the under 20 African Cup of Nations taking place in Egypt. Nigeria takes on Egypt. Now Nigeria lost their first match to Senegal, so they take on Egypt. Good news. Hey, we should have started this show with a different something, because the Super
Yes.
Falcons won. We should have started with
Hey,
drums and
hey,
pom poms. We should have come with a
hey.
dance, But we'll talk about all of that after Zibby tells us how everybody can participate on this program.
All right. So the WhatsApp number is 0809 You can tweet at Smooth981. And we're streaming the show live on YouTube. Hey, YouTube. Just search for Smooth981 on YouTube. And you can catch Tega live in the studio. All right, so can we look at the stories?
Yes, let's look at the stories. What do we have for today?
Okoronkwo delivers for Super Falcons. Kamila Valieva, WADA appeals to CAS over wrong Rosado ruling in figure skater doping case. Comeback Kings Madrid in their element amid European chaos. Man United host Barca. De Bruyne to miss Leipzig last 16 first leg. Spalletti warns Napoli it's not done after Frankfurt's first leg win. Paris Saint-Germain say Brazil forward has suffered ankle ligament damage. We're talking about Neymar. And Leeds name ex-Watford boss Javi Garcia as manager.
Oh yes, so after Watford, after he had done very well with Watford, then he struggled one season. They didn't even wait for him to settle. Was struggling, small struggle. Watford was like, this doesn't look like it's going to be good, and they fired him. So he's gone, and but now they've decided that he's the one that's going to be able to lead Leeds United. That sounds good. So let's see how that pans out for them. But first, let's start with the very first.
All right. Nigeria Super Falcons in the early hours of Wednesday morning defeated Costa Rica 1-0 to salvage some pride in their last game of the inaugural Revelations Cup.
Yes, so they salvaged some pride, and they ended up being third on the table with that 3 points. But it was, at least it was something good. I was hearing that players were talking themselves up that, you know what, we had to do something. It was no longer about the coaching now. It was about the players saying, look, we're the Super Falcons. How are we losing 7 straight matches? What is happening here? So eventually, I think they've been fighting. It's not like they've not been playing. It's just poor tactics, wrong position, and Eric Ten Hag. Eric Ten Hag's strategy that Randy has been using to approach the games. That's part of the problem. I wouldn't say that this is a comeback or a turnaround for them, but I think, like the story said it all. They salvaged some pride. That's what it was, and it was important that they got that win back, because there was already that, you know how when you lose a lot, it's a little harder to come back to winning. And so they kind of broke that momentum of that skid or the slide down, and they've come back with a win. So hopefully they can continue and look for a win. If you ask me, Tega Onojiafe. Yes, goodbye, Randy. I don't need any part-time coach in my life. Yes, full-time. Love me fully or not at all.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right, so the World Anti-Doping Agency has referred the case of the teenage figure skater Kamila Valieva to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. And this is following the Russian Anti-Doping Agency having found that Valieva bore no fault or negligence for a positive doping test.
All right, so if you remember this story, she was the first woman to complete a quadruple spin. I can't remember that she won gold. Yes.
Oh, wow.
And then they found out that her samples were tainted, and they came out and said, oh no, the 16-year-old, she had nothing to do with it. What I just like, when did this law start? That somebody will bring back positive sample, even including B sample, and then we'll let them participate. And they let her participate in the next round, though. After winning gold in one tournament, they let her participate. But, with the news coverage, and you trust the Western media, another
She's
Russian
Russian.
doping. They're like, another Russian is doping. And people are telling me, what? Just the USA. I think they come second or third. But they're just like, that should have been our gold. There was all that drama. And I thought it was ridiculous that somebody failed a drug test, especially another Russian failed a drug test when there was the shadow ban over them, and she was still allowed to compete. But right now, WADA is taking the case to CAS. They're like, you know what, that ruling was that ruling.
Yeah.
They're taking the case to CAS now, and they're demanding that all her results. She won that tournament happened in February. They're saying that all her results from December, when they got the failed drug test, all her results should be cancelled, and she should be banned for 4 years.
Wow.
Now, she's a gymnast and she's 16. If you ban her for 4 years, she better look for another sport. No. You can't find you can't find flexibility. You're 20 now. You want to now come back and do what? So yeah, as much as people say, oh, but she's only 16, where will she get this stuff from? I agree. She's only 16, but actions have consequences. So everybody and their.
How old is Divine Odudur again?
Oh no. And that one is
no. How old is that?
He's in his 20s. That's a completely different kettle of fish. That one, you can't even say, I didn't know, I didn't read. No.
Oh,
Those ones you can't claim a lot, especially when you get to a particular stage. Now with her, again, you can't say she's not culpable, especially with what is going on around there. What they said came out of Russia. You remember that their own was state-sponsored doping. That was the news. That's why Russia was banned. It's not like they had a lot of athletes that failed drug tests. It's like the news now came out that they had state-sponsored doping.
Wow.
That's a completely different level of fish. So this is the issue. So I remember this story when it came out, and I'm glad WADA is looking up to it, because if you set a precedence with this kind of thing, anytime a 16-year-old, I'll be
exactly.
like,
she's too young.
Yeah, she didn't know anything. Yeah. So
it was the people around her.
Yeah. So that's what they're pushing for. Let's see what CAS comes back with, because CAS again is also, sometimes you expect CAS to be the one to come with judgment, but they also come with some level of leniency, because they like to speak to different parties, and sometimes they are talking to or interacting with all parties, kind of makes them take a more lenient stance. So I'll wait to see what they'll do, but this is what they should have done all along. Her results should have been cancelled, and she should have been banned then. So maybe not 4 years, but yeah.
Wow. All right, well, let's go on to football now. Real Madrid made their name as the Kings of Europe, which can never be written off. And, they did prove it again at Anfield after they bewildered Liverpool on Tuesday nights.
All right, so I really wanted to start this story with the message from Emeka on, I think his name was Emeka, on Monday. And that last message that came in, where he did not he wrote something after I said something about Liverpool, that he wrote something.
Tega. See, I'm calling you how adults say Tega.
I wanted, it's not like I'm petty or I'm gloating. It's just that, even if I am, it's just that I wanted to let his loved ones know the kind of man he had become because of the language he used. However, because what I said has come to pass, I'm petty like that. I just wanted to let Emeka know that this is exactly what I was saying. The fact that you beat Everton and Newcastle doesn't mean there's a turnaround. The confidence to beat Real Madrid is a next level. Real Madrid's confidence is not small confidence. You can't carry, like I said, you can't just go to the gym one day and decide the next day that I'm Olympic, level ready. That's what it is. But they came into the game with the confidence, the 2 naira confidence that they had, and got quick goals. In fact, when I saw the first goal go in, I was like, match hasn't started, and Liverpool has already scored goal. They did the first one, then the second one, Courtois forgot where his hands were, where his knees were, gave the ball away. Salah was like, "Thank you and God bless," and he put the ball in the back of the net. 2-0. When I saw the time, they scored, but it was 2-0, 14 minutes and some seconds on the clock. I was like, not a good time to have 2-0 against this Real Madrid. Because I remember these people are wicked. You know, remember what they did to PSG? PSG last season had their leg in the next round. I kid you not. If not, in fact, the boss was leaving the stadium to take them to the next round. Real Madrid was laughing. And then they pulled them back and then they dumped them out of the competition. Oh, wow. That is the Real Madrid. They did it to Real Madrid. They did it to, I think they did it to Chelsea. Who else did do it to? Manchester City. And you're telling me that you scored 2-0 in the 14th minute and you're not ready to chop it. I didn't think it was going to be 5 goals. I thought, okay, they will come back and maybe it will be 3-2 or something. Real Madrid came back and it was a rampage. It was rampage of epic proportions, because at some point when they scored the 5th goal, I was like, please, this is, have some spirits of sportsmanship. This is the Champions League. Liverpool playing at home. Don't shame people in their house. It's not fair. So it was a reality check, you know, for Liverpool. In case they thought they had turned the corner, Real Madrid just reminded them who they really are. So impressive game, especially by Vinicius Junior. Great to see Benzema scoring back on the score sheet. I think he's the way he dominated Alisson to put the ball in the back of the net for the second goal. Beautiful. But all in all, Real Madrid just showing that they were Real Madrid. So big one for Liverpool. The comeback is not here yet. Maybe you try another comeback again over the weekend and see if that one will stick. Because this one did not stick. Let's take a message. Let's take some of the messages that are already coming in. Olu from Alaka says,
7 is the number of perfection. Randy got the Falcons off to the perfect start from the back. Lol.
And Tayo says,
Klopp last year was asking for the location of the next Champions League final. He didn't know that they would see Real Madrid before getting there. Now he's stranded looking for change after watching his team lose in 5K by 5.
That's not nice. That's not nice. This is Pius from Egbeda. He says, good morning, Smooth FM. Tega, I was not even scared when Liverpool scored 2 goals. I was praying for them to score more goals because they were provoking Madrid the more. They should not even bother about the second leg. They should just go to Madrid to learn tactics. I don't like this man because of what he said, which is not nice and polite. We are going to take a break now.
All right, yes.
To breathe a little.
Yes, let's take a break.
That was not a good clap back.
The conversation will continue on the other side. This is the Locker Room on Smooth 98.1.
All right, so we're going to open the phone lines for Barcelona, Manchester United, because I have nothing to say on that match.
Why?
So we'll read some of the comments.
Okay.
You know the match is tomorrow.
Oh. Man United. Tega, where did you? That guy was already over the trauma you gave him on.
No. Cannot be over like that. How can you be over easily? How can you be over easily? I said it.
This is like
when you're going to play, I hope it will give them confidence. I was like, no, that's not the confidence you need. You know, this kind of confidence go when comment not in, but by prayer and fasting. Cannot just get confidence from meeting Eba.
Oh my days. Speaking about Eba, I heard the Karim guy is injured now.
My dear.
Hey, village people.
Chelsea when I just heard it like this, I know some people on my essay that are supporting Chelsea. They don't go to church. I suspect those boys. They just called his name 3 times, you know, and it is bad when you see now recognize your heritage. You know, the guy recognized his heritage. Like, he now put his father's picture. They went to locate one tree in his father's village, and they called his father's blood back.
Oh my days!
The boy scored a goal, created an assist, and got injured.
Like how does that happen?
You think you can use our fufu to beat us, my friend? I suspect those Chelsea fans. They are the ones that did it. They are the ones that did it.
Poor kid.
Poor boy. He shouldn't have said those things. No, you should win first, finish. You know, you complete the assignment, then you come out and say, I'm Nigerian, I eat fufu. Because now you have shown them the connection.
Like, okay,
so they are able to, exactly. So the village people are able to trace it.
Oh my days.
And say,
why? So how long will he be out for?
Out long enough not to play in the second leg for Chelsea, I think. Or maybe he will just be coming back for the Chelsea game, so he will not be informed. Either way,
Wow.
they have done him something.
Why?
That run that he ran in the first leg, you cannot run it
Like
again.
you can't run it. Oh my days.
They're like, you've run your best.
Ah.
Village people. All right, we'll come back with some messages.
Okay.
And then we're going to the money.
This is the Locker Room on Smooth 98.1. Tega and Zibby here this morning. Lots of messages coming through. The WhatsApp number again, 0809 4440981. Now, just before we went on that break, we're talking about the annihilation
of Liverpool. And I know some Liverpool people come from, Liverpool, they are very mature people. So they'll just meet you at one restaurant and say, are you Tega?
What would you say?
That's when I usually deny myself. It wasn't me. All right. So the first message we're going to take after this break is Cruz. He says,
Real Madrid has to be dragged to the courts of all sport. It's not fair to break people's spirit the way they do. Even Djokovic doesn't show such wickedness.
I'm telling you. Ronson comes back and says, UCL is our property. We do not joke when it comes to crunch. I still pity Liverpool. Let's see. Tohib says, Real Madrid in La Liga is weak, but in Champions League, they are real strong. I like that.
I always wonder about that.
I like that. Ibuku says,
Liverpool are good investors. They deposited and collected with 150% interest from Madrid Bank.
That is so good. Let's see this one from Emeka. He says, Emeka from Awumo says, Liverpool scoring the first 2 goals was like making a down payment for a roasted corn. Emeka, put that phone down. He said it initially was like a competition of which goalkeeper could make the biggest howler, but Madrid stepped up. Interesting second leg awaiting. And Mohammed says, Chelsea was the only team to stretch Madrid to extra time in Madrid, and Ancelotti confessed that was the most difficult match. Don't compare Liverpool with Chelsea, I beg. Madrid has Liverpool pin code. Oga, did they beat you? Whether they beat you in extra time or they beat you in regulation time, they beat you. All of you are in the same boat. Did you pass on defense? All right, let's take some. Let's go to the next big match for this week.
All right, Man United hosting Barcelona. Now, if the first leg is anything to go by, then we are in for another festival of football at Old Trafford on Thursday night. Away goals no longer apply, so the 2-2 draw in Spain last week means it is winner takes all as Man United and Barcelona are facing each other in the second leg of the Europa League knockout round playoff tie.
Exactly. So really crunch time here. Eric Ten Hag saying we should have won the first leg. They should have given Count a red card. This, that. And then Travis saying, yeah, Rashford is such a fantastic player, but we have fantastic players too, and he'd be very happy, that Lewandowski has gotten back to scoring, especially with that goal over the weekend. So it is set up for a fantastic match. So now we are going to open the phone lines because I don't know what to say about Manchester United in this form facing Barcelona in their own form. This game is going to take place at Old Trafford, so I would say advantage Manchester United at home. The away goal rules have been done away with, so it's winner takes all. You just beat yourself. Like do what you know how PSG was it PSG and Lille over the weekend that played 4-3. That's how this game is going to be free for all. So the numbers, we're going to give you some numbers now. You call us and tell us who you think will win and why you think that team would win. All right, the numbers to call are
0144899981.
Again,
0144899981.
And you're telling us who you think will win and why you think that team will win. First call is already coming in. Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name and location? All right, Ibukun, who do you think will win the Manchester United versus Barcelona game and why?
United will win.
All right.
I think both sides will address the defensive wahala that they entered into last week, but more importantly, the absence of the two influential Barcelona players. I think Pedri or Gavi will be missing because of suspension.
Both of them will be missing.
And I think we'll tighten up the back, so we'll beat them.
All right.
We'll beat them for sure.
All right. Thank you very much. Hello, good morning. What's your name and your location? All right, Ademola, go ahead. Who will win Manchester United versus Barcelona?
When we look at it on paper and the form, We'll give it to Man U. But in football and what the pattern two of them are playing, Barcelona will win them.
All right. Thank you. All right. All the way from Ibadan, we should have given him a round of applause. I don't like the way you did. That's good. But he says Barcelona win. So we have one Barcelona win here and one Manchester United win here. And yes, Ibukun was right. Both Pedri and Gavi through suspension and Pedri through injury would miss that game. So those are two huge losses for Barcelona. So we're still taking your calls. You let us know. Manchester United taking on Barcelona in the Europa League. And let me tell you how big this match is. Over 90,000 people watched the first one.
Wow.
That's a record. All right, let's take this call. Hello, good morning. All right, go right ahead. Who do you think will win? Manchester United versus Barcelona?
All the way.
Who?
Barcelona all the way.
All right. And why? Why do you think that? Yeah.
Enough quality in their squad. There's enough pedigree. I'm sure they'll come through. It wouldn't be a straightforward win, but I think they'll just edge it.
All right. Thank you very much. Another Barcelona coming through. He thinks the quality in Barcelona is just a little too much and they will edge it. Let's take some messages that are coming in. Cruz is still being mean to Liverpool people. He said Liverpool walked alone yesterday.
Cruz.
Unfortunately.
Cruz.
I don't like this thing that you did. This is a message from Israel Agumbiade.
And he says, thank you, Tagar. A new pronunciation.
I'm loving the way you're showering praise on Real Madrid. Did you know that no visiting team in Europe has scored 5 goals in that stadium? Yeah, in Anfield. Hala Madrid. All right. I like the way Madrid people are bragging. They're bragging well. All right, we're still taking those phone calls. The numbers to call are
0144899181.
But while we wait for those phone calls, we have other stories. So let's go into the next one for today.
All right. So Manchester City midfielder Kevin De Bruyne will miss Wednesday's Champions League last 16 first leg with Leipzig, and he was left out of the side squad for the game.
Yes. So I think Pep Guardiola answered those questions. He said Kevin De Bruyne is and Laporte, they're going to miss the game through injury through illness. So it's not injury.
Okay.
They're both ill. Because I was questioning at the time, what did Kevin De Bruyne do? What could Kevin De Bruyne do? You know, he doesn't look like the kind of person that was saying, you know what, coach, I'm going to club tonight and there's nothing you can do about it. So, but Pep Guardiola cleared that up. He said they were both ill, so they would be missing the match. That's a huge loss for Manchester City. And I do know that, Manchester City have some quality players that, would still pass the ball. But I think the person that'll miss him the most will be Erling Haaland. Because nobody will be looking for him with crosses in the 18-yard box. And you know how Erling Haaland is your proper traditional striker. Feed him the ball when he's on the shoulder of the last man, and feed it to him quickly and precisely, and he'll give you the goal. So I think the person that will miss him the most would be Erling Haaland. And Leipzig are no easy team. They can run at you, they can cut through defenses, and on the counter they are very quick. So it makes it even a more interesting time for Manchester City, who have missed out so far on the Holy Grail. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, with all the money Manchester City has spent and with all the other trophies they've won, Manchester City have failed in the UEFA Champions League. Yes, they are professors of failure in this Champions League. They should prove me wrong by winning it, if easy.
All right. Are we moving on to the next story?
Yeah, let's take that.
All right. So Napoli coach Luciano Spalletti has warned his side's biggest enemy to think it's done after Tuesday's 2-0 last 16 first leg win at Frankfurt.
Yes, I would say this, I think a lot of people expected Napoli to defeat Frankfurt, and I still think a lot of people expected Napoli, Osimhen to score, and both of those things happened. And this is the biggest news right now. Osimhen is just increasing his price tag, because sometimes when you see African players doing so well, they don't still sell for so much. At the end of the day, they're still an African player. Imagine if Jack Grealish were scoring like Victor Osimhen, 200 million. That's asking price. when we start to negotiate, they will add some money, add boxes of idire, add, but it's a little tricky with African players. As good as African players were, I mean, think about it. How much was money bought for Yaya Toure, Samuel Eto'o? At the end of the day, this is not huge money.
Okay, so why is it that they don't have the best representation? It has something to do with discrimination.
I don't even know. See, I honestly cannot answer that question categorically, say citing bias. I can't cite bias because I don't have any proof. Okay. But I've noticed that with that, it happens like that. But what Victor Osimhen is doing is he's just making sure that that price tag goes up. So if you're looking at Osimhen now, just have 100 million or thereabouts, you know. At the end of the day, we'll see how it works. But Victor Osimhen, that goal yesterday, it was as much as it was expected by everybody. The fact that he delivered when it was expected makes it even more impressive. So one of the best strikers in Europe. In fact, the most informed striker in Europe right now. I know some people say Rashford. It's a lie. Rashford just has good PR from the English media. It's not that he's bad. It's just that the English media know how to promote their own. In fact, if you create a series of assists in England, the way they will splash your name across the newspapers. Unfortunately, they're also like that if you're not performing. So so it's tricky. But Rashford is good, but Osimhen, Osimhen. All right.
Okay, so PSG say Neymar has sprained his ankle and suffered some ligament damage, and he picked up the injury in the second half of his side's win at the weekend, and he had to be carried off on a stretcher.
Yes, so that game I was talking about where they were scoring goals aplenty and a very shameful defense by both teams. Neymar was stretchered off during that match, only for PSG to come out now and say that he has a ligament injury. What that could mean is that the crunch tie that PSG have against Bayern Munich, which is important that they win because they are already trailing in that tie by 1 goal, he's not going to be able to be available. And what you want are your star players ready. And for some reason, PSG had, I don't know, they sold, if you ask me, way too many players without replacing them, because all of a sudden their team looks so light. Wow. You know, you look at the team and think, who is going to replace players? And they're not enough names, so there's no strength in depth, and that's the problem for a team that like PSG. They used to have, you know, Angel Di Maria, they had Draxler, you know, they just have people sitting on the bench for fun, and now they have nothing, especially when they need them. So it's a really sad one, a really tricky one, but hey, he'll be all right. Also, we've already talked about Garcia going to Leeds United, so let's take some messages, seeing as we are running out of time. The first message we're going to take is from Zizzy Classic, and she says, or he says,
I'm so happy for Victor Osimhen. As for Liverpool, no comment.
This one is from Tayo. He says, Osimhen does not see goal post without making a goal deposit. Footballer turned banker. I agree with you. And he also says,
Neymar getting injured just in time for his sister's 26th birthday. Oh wow. Neymar to his sister is giving, I'll be there no matter what vibe.
I don't know why people always accuse Brazilians of doing this thing, because they seem to, you know, they
love their family.
They get suspensions and injuries just in the nick of time for a big bash. You know. So yeah, it's tricky. But I don't think he'd have wanted a ligament injury to take him out for a birthday bash. I think he would have wanted a yellow card, but that was a good one. That was a good one. All right, that's the show for now. We hand the studio back to Zibby. Zibby.
Yes, indeed.
Run away with it. Zibby, are you going to talk about how I stood for 3 hours?
You stood for 3 hours?
Waiting for my payment to drop. Only for my bank to tell me, you may have to wait a little longer. The platform is down.
Wow. Wow.
When the lady told me, I was thinking,
you felt the pain.
Does she have wig on her head? I just want to pull the wig on her. But yeah, so we leave the studio for Zibby. Zibby, take it away.
All right, thank you for listening. That's all the time for the locker room. But do stay with us. Lagos Talks comes up in just about 15 minutes from 9 o'clock right here on the Smooth Breakfast.